Well, federal health agencies called for an immediate halt of the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine, as you know, after multiple people developed a disorder involving blood clots. But Dr. Anthony Fauci is predicting when Johnson & Johnson's vaccine could make a return. Listen.
Hopefully by Friday, we'll get back on track one way or the other.
By Friday, the CDC advisors are meeting on Friday, but you think that that is actually when J&J will be unpaused?
Well, I think by that time we're going to have a decision. But I would imagine that what we will see is that it would come back, and it would come back in some sort of either warning or restriction.
So is anyone going to trust the Johnson & Johnson vaccine once it gets back on the market, or should they? Joining us now to discuss is CEO of GeoVax, David Dodd. David, it's always great to have you with us, specifically when we're talking about vaccines and vaccine development. In terms of the J&J vaccine, do you think that it was wise to begin with for the CDC to pause its use, and do you think less people will be inclined to use it now?
I think it was wise to pause to try and understand it, and I think that there will indeed be a greater number of people who will question it because that's human nature. But I, for one, have no problems with it. It's a very low occurrence rate. It was, 6 out of almost 7 million. The product has been working well, and most people, everybody I know, in fact, who have received it, have had no side effects and no local side effects. So I think it's wise to pause, it's wise to understand, but at the same time, I think that the benefits far, far outweigh the risk with this vaccine.
Do you think that a person should assess what their likelihood is to get COVID before deciding their risk element in taking a vaccine?
I do on a personal basis. I think everyone should think that through. This is a virus that in certain populations is extremely rare to occur, and in others, certainly the elderly and people with comorbid conditions, they all should be in pursuit of a vaccine because they need to be protected. But there are certain subgroups that we see very low risk of being infected, and I think it's up to the individuals, their families, their medical professionals to discuss this and decide.
When it comes to vaccines, is this an issue that always comes about, different people suffering from different side effects? And is it are we more aware of it right now because of the reporting and because of all the eyes that are on all of these vaccines? Because I know that there's this report that just came out this week regarding the Pfizer vaccine and a side effect that they're seeing developing where it causes a version of herpes, where people get these skin rashes that burn their skin.
Exactly. Shingles, herpes, you're hearing of a lot of side effects. I think we're paying more attention to it from vaccines now, as you indicate, than we ever have before. But at the same time, we also have rushed this thing forward. We have much greater understanding by the time we take a product to the market in other viruses or infectious diseases in the past than we have in this case. So we're going to have many more questions. We're going to see more surprises, frankly.
All right. Thank you, David. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us again. David Dodd joining us here. Coming up in the second hour of American Agenda, a lot to talk about. We'll be back after this.